Do to me. No, we're not talking about these. We're not talking about these or these or these or these or nothing. But this. Come to daddy. Okay, let's make it look more beautiful. More beautiful. Okay. JDS Labs EL stack, not Element. It's not the Element. I reviewed the JDS Labs Element years ago. Like it's been a while. And I like the Elements. I really, really like the Element stack. For the cost, it was just spot on. It was just, couldn't beat it. But there was still other competition. And then, you know, it sort of sat there, and then shit came out with the Better Magni, and then the Madi 2 Uber came out, and then Audio God literally hit the scene after I did that review, and it was like, oh, there's so many things you could tap into now. So what JDS Labs did is not take the Element and break it into two pieces. Sorry, OCD, have to clean. What they did is they completely rebuilt everything entirely and then broke it into two pieces. So this is the EL, not Element, and I was mistakenly calling it the Element DAC and the Element amp, and that's not what exists. The Element is literally this chassis with a DAC and an amp combo built into it, and it's still very good. And it's like 2, 3, 5, Tree Fitty. It's Tree Fitty, and instead of this being Tree Fitty, this is now $250 and $280. So over $500 for the pair. Now when you start putting that sort of money down on something, it would better perform. And luckily, well, luckily for JDS Labs, this does. Probably better than most other things. I know DMS like held us up to the sun gods and praised it, and while I don't want to be a copycat, he did his job, because I don't know what I like more. I know what I like more. I like the amp more, because DACs have a limit. DACs work good enough at some point, and then you just have to be like, oh, okay. So let's look at the EL DAC, and I'll shut it off with the, it's just a touch button. There's no click or anything. So you can shut off this DAC, and it doesn't get very warm, but it definitely has heat. Now, over here on the side of my cabinet, feeding this 8 watt per channel at 50 ohm monster headphone amp / speaker amp, is a JDS Labs OL DAC, like old school. And I trust that thing for $130. I trust it to run as cleanly as I'd ever need a DAC to run. And this is its big fucking brother. Or sister, I don't know. I think DACs are gender neutral. Fight me in the comments. Back of this, USB in, full size, RCA outputs. You've got a coaxial input, you got a fiber optic input, and you got a power supply. Now the power supplies are sitting there. Those are those big chunky monkeys plugged into an extension cord. Both giant, both slightly different voltages and mediocre amounts of amperage. Doesn't matter. The point is, whereas a lot of other things just have the power supply built in, these push the power supply away, because power supplies are bad for business. Usually, I will praise something that puts a power supply like in it, just because it's a lot cleaner, a lot easier to deal with. But if you look on the desk there, the SMSL D1, the VMV D1, which is a $1,300 DAC, literally has a power supply connected, and then there's literally a wall and then another wall to push it as far away as possible without having a power brick. But since JDS Labs is going for a little bit cleaner and smaller, giant power bricks on the floor. So this DAC, you get 3 inputs: USB, fiber optic, coaxial digital. I was hoping it would have Bluetooth, similar to the Sanskrit Pro DAC I have here, because that is becoming, literally month by month, is becoming more and more of a thing. Because my phone, my beautiful phone, look at my beautiful Z2 Force phone. Isn't it great? Who's messaging me? Z2 Force phone has no headphone jack. And frankly, with Bluetooth 5, like around the corner. Like I've got a Blue Wave Get. This little thing is Bluetooth 5 compatible. So it's here, and it's basically 99.9375% as good as line in, just RCAs. So I was hoping this had it. It doesn't have it. So next revision, JDS Labs, Bluetooth. Because when you turn it on, it's red for fiber optic, which makes perfect sense to me because fiber optic's red. You press it again, now it's, I'd call that a yellow, not really an amber, it's more of a yellow. And that's coaxial digital, and you press it again, and it blinks blue, and I'm like, Bluetooth? No, it blinks blue to indicate USB, and I don't have a USB hooked up, so it literally goes past that and says, nah, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing that. Now, it's a very thin metal. It's so thin, it feels like plastic, which is not a positive. I mean, it's light, which is also not a positive. I don't mind if this thing weighs 1,000,000 pounds. It's going to sit on my desk. And I'm feeding out of it with some custom-made wires that someone made for me. These are Amphenol's connectors. And there's that, oh, they're sliding off the leg. The leg is going slide. Probably because it's been sitting on my crazy desk for too long. What do you want me to say about this DAC? It has, the only feature it has is you can turn it off in the front with a touch button. You can turn it on and you can switch inputs, and that's it. How does it sound? As good as you'd ever need. End of line. And it's pretty too. It also collects fingerprints like a mofo. It looks like I've been passing this around in a goddamn strip club at 3 in the morning, but literally I've been cleaning it this entire time. So you get one of these. It's got the big JDS Labs logo on the bottom. It's got big rubber feet that for me are sliding because I have, you know, very sticky desk surface. It's great. Is it worth the cost? Because that's where I start becoming Zeos again, and I'm like, oh, absolutely, it's worth $250. Absolutely, it's worth $250. SMSL SU8, fuck. That's also $250. And balanced, and has a remote. That has features. This doesn't have features. If it had Bluetooth, that would be a feature. It doesn't have that. So let's move on to the amp, and then you could decide if you want to invest in the actual full-blown stack. Because just like a shit stack where you get the shit Modi and then a shit Magni on top of it, and everyone will be like, oh, the shit stack, shit stack, shit stack. You don't have to buy both of these. You could buy just one. You could buy a shit Modi Uber and the EL DAC and the EL amp, or you could buy that DAC and any amplifier you want. You could buy this and an SMSL or an Aoun S7. You can mix and match. It's okay to do that in the headphone world. A lot of people don't believe in it, and I'm here to tell you it's perfectly fine. Who the hell wants to see the same stacks all the time? Just go nuts. I mean, just because I have an Aoun X1S and then the X7S on top of it doesn't mean that that's the only DAC that'll work with this amp. You can use this DAC in this amp, and you can use this DAC in this amp. The world is beautiful, and it should be just all the colors mixed together. Are we done with that now? Great. So, wires. Now, I used really long wires. These are like 4 foot long because I was finding it very, 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 very difficult to run like 1 foot RCAs in a loop. I literally was coming off the table, coming out, it just looped around on the floor and then came back up and plugs into the other thing. It was perfectly neat. If you try to use short cables, you end up trying to have to keep them on the table. So I would recommend, I'm not going to link these are literally made for me by someone and I thank him, but I'm going to link Amazon Basics RCAs are probably some of the best you can get, and they're like $8. They're just $8. I will not stand up and be like, oh my god, RCA quality is so important, you need to spend at least $250 for this length, and then every length after that is only $200. No, stop. So, yeah, I would recommend a 4 foot length of cable, let that drape behind your thing. On the back, we've got outputs, inputs, your gain setting, your power button, and the AC input. Also, those power bricks are AC because converting from AC to DC is bad. Shit doesn't convert from AC to DC. They're all AC, so JDS Labs is all AC. Everything's AC. You get the knob, basically. I mean, I don't know how to describe that fucking volume knob except for it's the knob. It's got a little bit of give, so you don't destroy it, and probably because there's still. I don't think I could pull it off. I don't want to yank it. But when you turn it off, it slow dims, and when you turn it on, that white ring comes on around it, and there's a little bit of copper color in there. It's so pretty. And that's the only power indicator you get. The front is just a 1/4 inch. And there's no metal. It's just a hole in this metal, so you got to go past it, and you can see there's threads in there. So I don't know how they managed to get, like, there's metal, then a space, then a thing inside of it, and yet it still manages to work just fine. So that has to be a very custom plug they're running, and that's your only output. Talking about the RCAs in the back for a second, they are pass-throughs, but they are only pass-throughs when the unit is off. If this is lit up, if you're listening to headphones, these RCAs do not work. When you shut it off, click, these RCAs are now out. Whatever's coming in is going out. And that's actually not the worst system, because it's not a preamp. It's not like, oh, plug powered monitors into it and control the volume here. It's not that. This is going to work with either you have your own preamp, like a SIS. Actually, JDS Labs makes that little baby Matrix preamp. There's that one by Knob Sound that's got a really nice knob. You can get any number of preamps and just pass this off and then go to powered monitors, or come straight out of here, straight to an actual power amp, A100, SMSL, SA50. There's the Mica Oragain. I keep forgetting that exists, and I love that little amp. It's in my bedroom. It's using on my Dreamcast. Any amp I put in my Dreamcast probably is the greatest thing on earth, and you could throw everything else away. So I have a Mica Oragain, the non-smart one in there. It goes click on, my speakers play, and then it clicks off. So this would output to either, you could probably do tube amps as well. The only thing you gotta know is when you shut this off, these output. They just pass through. And when you turn this on, they shut off. So you'll never have both playing at the same time. It's okay. It's an okay feature. It's nice. You could always just take your DAC and get Y splitters and have everything play all at the same time, because usually the runs are nice and short. Whatever, that's fine. So you get a volume knob. It's indicated. Not great, but it's still got the dot, and you can see it. I actually, if we want to talk about a problem with this massive, awesome knob, which has perfect weight and smoothness, is that I said this about the original Element. It's sort of an odd thing. Like, look at this right here, right now. Here's a headphone jack. Here's my RCAs. Look at the size this is taking up on my desk. It's huge. Now, if you could actually mount it on a wall like that and be super badass. You could put up against your computer case or something and then just deal. Which might be the way I tell you to go, because I was finding out when I was running this thing on my desk, every time I brushed past it, or anything happened, or cleaned it, and you have to clean it a bit because it just absorbs. If you eat pizza if you've ever eaten pizza from today until all the way back to like 2007, you're probably gonna get greasy fingerprints on this thing. So you have to wipe it, and it's so easy to turn the knob by accident because it's the entire size of like a goddamn one of those flying saucers from Carvel. You know what I'm talking about. It is fun to play with the volume, and it's very accurate. I've only on high gain, only on high gain do I really pick up any sort of discrepancy between left and right, and at the very creeping start. And we should probably talk about how it sounds. This is one of the best headphone amps you can buy. Here's my test. Here's my test. Take headphones that I know, or headphones I don't know, but want to learn about. And then plug them in, starting with the X1S, because I love my little X1S. Plug it in there. And they'll go, okay, now let's move up to the X7S, which is Class A, which is a better headphone amp than that, but it's the same. Oh, yeah, okay. Then plug it into whatever else you want to test. And it's almost never been as blatant as going... I was listening to these, which are a modified pair of M1060Cs with the Lotus design backs and goddamn $100 a pair fucking Audeze vegan pads, and there's a nice wire, which doesn't affect sound, but it's a nice wire. And I went, one, I was listening to Made in Abyss soundtrack, Into the Void, I forget. Plugged it in, okay. Well, this song usually makes me sad. Oh, wow. You definitely tell it's Class A. It's a bit warmer. It's got a little more clarity to it. And I plugged it into here, and it was like a third step. It was like better. It was like good, better, best. Stop. Just stop. Just stop it. And this, by the way, I want to point out is on low gain, because this thing basically powers everything on low gain. The only thing that I would recommend pushing high gain, where are you? These are my T20, which don't get enough play. Everyone's like, T50, I want to suck a T50 dick. Where's the T50's dick? Don't forget the T20's dick, which only require 1840 pads. Because even on low, here, even on low, hold on. That's max on low. So, again, these headphones are murderers. Click, high gain. And I want to die there. Right before 1 o'clock. I want to die. Right before 1 o'clock. I want to die. Right before 1 o'clock is when I die. Let's change some tracks. Hold on. Oof. It's like a clock ticking. What is this? Linked Horizon, Moshi Kono Kabe no Naka ga Riki from the Juyi no Shenjiki? I don't know. It's a Japanese lady singing. All I know is there was a clock just... You heard that, right? Good, because that just like... I always tell people you can't run Argon's T50 mods, any mods, unless you got like 8 watts of power, and that's what this Emotiva will do. At 50 ohms through the front with the mod, it's 8 watts of power. And the reason you need 8 watts is so you could use 3. A lot of people are saying, oh, you only need 3 watts to run the things. Yes, that's absolutely fucking true. You need 3 watts, but you don't want to get a 3 watt maximum power amplifier and then run it at full tilt. That's never what you want to do. You want to get one of those 8 and then only run it at 3. Let me see if I can actually get the number. Are the instructions have it, you think? No, of course they're not going to list specs. No one lists specs anymore. The amp, which has... 30-volt rails, peak output excess of 1.5 watts, which doesn't sound like a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's dumb. Let's see. Hold on. That's at 32, almost 1.5 watts. At 150 ohms, which is much further away, it's still over half a watt. It's 505 milliwatt. And at 600 ohm, it's 140 milliwatt. These numbers don't mean anything. You can look them up yourself. I don't have to tell them to you. All I know is if I put this up, Red Hot Chili Peppers is terrible. Let's not listen to that. Korn is great, but it's not. Oh, there you go. Son of a Preacher Man will kill me. Dead. Fucking dead at 2 o'clock. Billy Ray was a preacher's son. I'm surprised that these V-Moda cables don't just burst into flames every time I try to run a T20 or T50 mod. It's just amazing. Alright, this is probably the best headphone amp you could buy with money today. And that's including things from Audio God, and it's including... I mean, I'm not going to pit it against my S7, simply because my S7 is A, balanced, and B, double the price. but that thing will murder too. This actually might be more powerful sounding. Like, I plugged these into that single-ended, and it's like, balance is what you buy that for. As far as single-ended only amps go, this is really fucking hard to beat. So then you get the question of, well, do you need the stack? Well, I've explained that already. You don't really need the stack, but look how neat a package that is. Look at it just sit there. Picking that out. Switch it to low gain again. Nothing else. Nothing else in this table needs high gain. Let's give the Icons a run with their crazy silver cable. Oh my. See, I'm going just a little bit past half on low gain. Don't need any more power than that. Thank you. Ever teach me? Next. God, these are wide. You know, if you're living a single-ended life, which is perfectly fine. I'm an advocate for balance, but I'm not like gonna tell you that no, I can't buy it so you have balance. Distortion is zero. I mean, I don't give a shit how many decimal places. The distortion levels in this are 0. When I put the Virum 1s on it, which are those big homemade planars that the Kickstarter fucking exceeded by like 9,000%, this is one of the only amplifiers that I could truly let them have it. Like, just because even that's gonna have distortions come in because it's a giant speaker amp. The noise floor isn't that great, but it'll push anything hard, and this will push most things hard and is clean as fuck. This is like, I don't know, newborn sheep on a winter covered snow hill, just while it's snowing, and then there's like filters over the sun to make it even purer white. It's just ridiculous. I can give this no higher praise than to say I want one, and I want one on my review desk. I want it here. I want to... What would I replace? Panda Stack? Get rid of those, but that's got balanced. They've been here since day one. They're my benchmark. Oh, shit. Shit. Also, I took out a couple other crazy hard to drive headphones. Example, Advanced Alphas. Do not need high gain. I talk about this and how when I was running them on low gain, they were very calm and boring, and on high gain they finally stood up and punched in the balls. Well, guess what? Leave them on low gain. 1:30, 2 o'clock, Japanese shit just belting you in the face. Space Dandy soundtrack. I'll take it to 3 o'clock on low gain. And that's like, you should be getting yelled at. Your mother, even if you're an adult male with 3 kids, your mother should call you up and tell you to lower this right now. Sonny, lower it! I can hear it from here. Oh, God. Oh. I forgot how good these headphones were. Yeah, now this is a sex stack. If a shit stack is shit, then this should be called the sex stack. We're done here. Maybe I'm going to title the video the sex stack. Because it doesn't... Look at it. It's like in the future. The only thing that I would ask if they really want to... Like, I mean... They should have like special pins here and here that if you buy the stack, you can literally go click and you don't need to run wires between them. That would be amazing. Then you could turn on and off the amp and it would turn on and off the DAC, and oh, it wouldn't be hard. It would just be like 4 contacts that stick out. And then if you bought just the DAC, it wouldn't matter. Those wouldn't be affected. And if you bought just the amp, it wouldn't matter. Those wouldn't be affected. And I just go... And they should... Oh, another thing, JDS Labs, because I like to yell at people. Not yell. I'm not yelling. I love it. I'm not yelling. Put magnets in the corners of both devices so that when you buy the stack, you go like this, and it goes... Boom, and it goes perfectly straight. What do you think? Can I sell you on that idea? I think it's going to be great. Of course, if magnets are going to affect the circuitry, then you shouldn't do that. But the one thing I am having, because this plug here, watch. Okay, no, nope. Okay. And then you got to plug it in. It's sort of like... Okay, I got it. It's a little... They're light. They're metal cases, but they're not heavy. So I'm going to have to go and link in the description Blu Tack, which is my favorite thing in the whole world, which is just the stuff for putting posters up. Just take some balls of Blu Tack and go... And then get it right under the feet and just squeeze it down and sandwich it. And then you might have to Blu Tack the whole thing down to the desk. Because it's not heavy. That's why it's covered in fingerprints. It's not covered in fingerprints because I just like to sit here and play the fucking bongo drums on it. It's because every time I go to plug a headphone or unplug it, I've got to like grab it because it's so tight. Giggity. So yeah, a couple little baby things. I mean, it's... How are these not the most popular headphones on earth? Right here. Oh, because they're $500. Never mind. They're $500 and almost impossible to power properly. The Jubilees reviewed on this. These work. These fucking... I cried. Fucking cried with this combo. You know, I can't express the satisfaction, because I remember when I saw the Element the very first time, like, oh my god, look at this, it looks like that, it's got a big knob, I can't wait. And I reviewed it, and it was good. And it was good. It exceeded barely what my expectations were. And then they said, oh, we broke it out into 2 pieces. And I'm like, I already heard the Element, why would I need this? This is leaps and fucking bounds better than the Element. Okay, as good as the Element is, and the Element's still good, buy this instead. If you can't buy both, just buy one. Buy just the amp. The amp has the numbers that I'm more concerned with, and the DAC is a very good DAC, and it matches, and it's got a cool button. You could hit the button and it blinks and it turns off, and I like it. I like the DAC. If I had the choice between the old DAC and the LDAC, I'd take the LDAC every time, but I'd be paying double. And you really want that. Fuck. It's so pretty. If you can hide the wiring well enough, and I'm using fiber optics, so it's just like, if you can fit it on your desk, do so. If you can hang it on the wall like this, just Blu Tack it right to the side of whatever, just side of your speaker. Deal with it. However you have to deal to get this on your desk, do it, because it's that amazing. I can't. If you're coming from like a shit stack, here's the question that's going to happen in the comments. But Zeos, is it better than like a shit stack? Is it better than a Jotunheim? Is it better than this? Yes. Yes. If you have an NFB11, if you have an R2R11, just keep those. They're expensive. But if you're like selling it anyway and you want to try something new, here you go. This is American made, by the way. Which no one remembers that shit, but it is. It's fucking JSF's all American made, and it's amazing. And I mean, you could do this like cool stack thing. Oh yeah, look, it's like bookshelves. Now we're talking. Now we're getting some crazy shit going on. I've given this as much praise as I care to give, and now we'll see where it ends up in the future. Okay, links to wallpaper. I've done a couple sound demos of this, by the way. Links to wallpaper in the description. Maybe her, because these aren't on Amazon, and I gotta throw something from Amazon. Although I said I was gonna do Blu Tack, but Blu Tack and Noodle Stopper figure, and links to these, and anything else I feel like linking. Maybe there'll be a comedic link down there for comedy purposes. The Owen stack is looking at me, and I'm just like, I know. What do you want from me? Fuck. All right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I'll never hear the end of it. All right. See you in the next one.